got a 13 episode TV show purely to promote an album with 12 songs and 7 band members. There's an obvious formula to follow here. Centre the story around a different song each episode, and each character can tie into it somehow. I guess they kinda try, but these plots are mostly paper thin, and the songs don't always have much to do with the story. I think there's a couple they don't use, but we do get an awesome ABBA cover. Each episode obviously has all 7 members in it, but some of them do get more emphasis occasionally, although it's usually John. What's most interesting, in retrospect, is the overarching storyline of the show, which is them all being taken advantage of and not getting paid properly, which was exactly their situation in real life. Presumably an irony they weren't aware of at the time. As you can see, I made a chart to show how important each kid is in these episodes. So, get ready everybody, cause here we go. Tina's doing her dance. Hey! What a pain in the arse. Tina is quite a bossy chick with not very much to do. Way down, in episode 8, she gets stuck in an alien costume. The outcome of which is just that she meets her dad a bit late. Also, I kind of thought these kids were poor and chasing their dreams, but her dad is stopping off in Miami for a few hours between some business deals. That ain't normal. And her dad is a dick. She uses her big mouth to stick up for Paul when some tart is two-timing him later on.
Why agree to go out with Paul if you're going to road test the lips of the entire male population of southern Florida?
That's what friends are for. But generally, I'm sorry to say, she is the most annoying one. At least she does get to play an obvious character though. Hopefully that's a character, and she isn't like that in reality, because I fancy her. John's looking for a romance. This guy apparently the clever one. The first episode almost seems like it's gonna be about him, but not really. John gets a proper job, while the other 6 were all perfectly happy to just fuck off to America and leave him behind. The obvious storyline of convincing him to change his mind and come back is completely ignored. He just turns up on the plane at the end. Nobody contacted him, nobody talked him into it. How did he even know?
John!
What are you
saying? We thought you weren't coming.
Well, I couldn't let you lot go on your own, could I? Who knows what kind of trouble you get into?
Not everybody wants you. Episode 6 is another mostly John one, where he wants to free the pet alligator, which is very nice of him. The other group members don't really care. And while it doesn't quite work out, at least he tried. John finally gets round to looking for romance an episode later. They play a volleyball match against a rival hotel where he unbelievably impresses a beach babe and gets a date.
Do you think you can carry on?
No.
He's quite involved in Tina's Alien episode 2, where he got the hots for an actress in a TV show. Oi, what happened to volleyball chick? Whilst episode 10, the best one, is a group effort, he does a big speech in court, which means they don't get deported or something. He's actually pretty clever, in comparison to the others. Paul's getting down on the floor. Paul is the stupid guy, and he does like to fall over quite often too. He gets tricked into being in charge of the hotel in episode 4.
Did I pick wrong? Did I make the wrong guy manager?
Eventually realising he's being used precisely because he is so stupid. But it worked out alright eventually. He then goes and gets tricked again later by this evil dolphin trainer Sexpot, who's just using him in an experiment. That's probably the meanest bit of the whole show. He does seem like a nice guy in the end though. Yeah, Paul is cool. Hannah's screaming out for more. Woo! She's just kind of there most of the time. Still, she comes across as the best one, if you don't include Bradley. She instigates the volleyball match story,
I don't suppose you happen to know anything about volleyball, do you?
but doesn't do anything afterwards. And she seems cool saying, "Look out!" in episode 8.
Look out! Look out! Look out! Look out! Look out!
She eventually gets horny and has a proper story all the way back in episode 9. Here, she falls in love with a lifeguard for 2 days. But for some reason, she can't date this dude and be in the group. I don't know. And they do a song which actually fits the story. She hasn't done anything straight up horrible or particularly stupid, and seems quite nice because of it. Also, she can speak to dolphins, all psychic like. Do you want to see Bradley swing? Bradley is a big old sleepy randy numbskull. Just like Hannah, he comes across quite well because he doesn't really do very much for most of the show. Although, thinking about it, he was perfectly happy to snog Paul's girl,
Spent most of last night snogging her.
and he was also pretty instrumental in breaking up Howard's relationship when they time travelled back to the 70s.
I'm Catherine.
Hi, I'm Bradley.
Great hair.
Oh, thanks. You look great, even in that.
It's kind of like Back to the Future, except they don't fix anything. Maybe he isn't so nice after all. But I still like him. Wanna see Rachel do her thing? Rachel's thing appears to be just being incredibly vain and stupid. She does get a lot of stick for it from everybody, but she probably should. The only tiny hint of a storyline for her is when she's asked to be a model, which turns out to be just a hand model, so that doesn't go down well.
You like my hands?
Yes. Hey!
Sorry, Rachel, you is just eye candy. Then we got Joe, got the flow. Too much information, Joe. We don't need to know that stuff. Joe gets shit done. There's a method in the madness. Like when she fixes their car by vandalising somebody else's. Episode 5 is mostly about Joe and her boyfriend, but it don't make her look good at all. He writes her nice letters, sends presents, even surprise visits her, and she tells him to jog on.
Dear Robert, I want a break. Make that a permanent break. It's kaput, finito. It's hasta la vista, baby, which in English means, well, I'm not sure what it means, but basically, it's not you, it's me. No, it is you after all. There may or may not be someone else, but let's stay friends, or possibly not.
Thankfully, the guy bags a hot, rich MILF instead. They're doing $1 million. Take that, Joe! I think Joe is supposed to be the boss, but it's hard to tell. She appears to decide they are staying in America at the end, but before that, they all seemed okay with giving up and going back to England. Even though Howard wanted them to stay in Miami, now he realises that he loves them all? What the hell?
We're gonna miss you.
Yeah.
At first, it does seem to be incredibly bad. It's got a very old-fashioned amateur vibe to it all. Most of it seems to be filmed wherever they can get away with it. And I think it's fair to say, they ain't great actors. But after a few episodes, it really does start to grow on you. The way they all take the piss out of each other quite a lot is very funny. This constant snarkiness is a very British type of humour though, and might come off as mean to some.
Because Rachel's scared and weedy.
What's that mean, you plum?
But we're in America, you divvy.
I'm just thinking as an alligator.
But how can you? Clint has got the brain the size of a walnut.
Yeah, so's Hannah.
Don't say that, he'll try and stroke it.
I've got a date tonight at 9.
Yeah, all right, I'll ring News 9. So, what was that you were saying, Joe? Shut up.
Don't forget to spit it out.
No, it's worse than that.
Right, and I mean, the really positive thing is, now no one will get to see what a terrible actress you are.
Yeah, you're just like Ally McBeal. Except when she looks down, she can see her feet.
Girls, they're so rough.
I wonder how this was received in America. Anyway, by the time episode 10 came around, I was loving it. Finally, a good little story that actually makes sense. That doesn't happen very much. Admittedly, that final episode was a bit of a letdown. Mostly just a bunch of clips with them all happy to go home, even though the alien actress advises them not to give up.
Isn't that a reason to stay? I mean, why don't you travel a bit? Go to LA, see what happens there.
It seems like they will though, without giving it much thought. Overall, I've got to say, I enjoyed it quite a lot in the end. The music obviously helps, cause that's all awesome, and their happy-go-lucky, sunny vibe is very contagious. It genuinely does look like they're all actually having a lot of fun. Makes me wish I had some friends.
We love you.
Yeah? What he said?
Just from the way they act in the TV show, I'm gonna say no, 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 yes, oh yeah.